classical music of the 21st century raises a simple but provocative question. What does classical even mean today? For many listeners, classical music still conjures images of Bach, Beethoven, or Brahms, music rooted firmly in the past. But in the 21st century, classical music is no longer just a continuation of historical styles. It is a living, pluralistic field, one that absorbs technology, global influences, and new social purposes. Today, classical music no longer refers to a single sound or historical period. Instead, it describes a broad set of musical practices. These include traditional written scores and improvisation, acoustic instruments and live electronics, concert hall works and site-specific sound art. What unites them is not style, but craft, intentional listening, and artistic endurance. Classical music has shifted from being a museum of fixed masterpieces to a dynamic ecosystem of creation and performance. Institutions reflect this change. Orchestras, festivals, and conservatoires increasingly program living composers, multimedia works, and community-based projects. Programming choices now address representation, collaboration, and the cultural role of music in society. Notation has changed too. Graphic and hybrid scores allow performers greater freedom, inviting interpretation, choice, and interaction across media. The score becomes not a final command, but one element in a larger artistic process. Technology has profoundly reshaped classical music in the 21st century. Composers now work with real-time audio processing, live electronics, spatial sound, and immersive formats such as binaural audio and ambisonics. Digital audio workstations, notation software, algorithmic systems, and even machine learning function as creative partners. These tools don't just change how music sounds, they change how it is made. Composers prototype faster. Performers integrate interfaces into their instruments. Recordings often become definitive versions of works, not just documentation. Distribution has shifted as well. Streaming platforms, video premieres, and social media broaden access, while also reshaping how audiences listen and engage. Minimalism remains one of the most influential forces in contemporary classical music. Its core features, steady pulse, repetition, gradual change, continue to shape 21st century composition. But today's composers use these ideas in richer harmonic, timbral, and technological contexts. Post-minimalism expands the language further. It embraces expressive harmony, stylistic plurality, and cross-cultural rhythm. Acoustic repetition often merges with electronic processing, creating intricate, shifting sound architectures. For audiences, this music encourages sustained listening. Repetition builds expectation, while subtle change delivers emotional impact, often enhanced by lighting, staging, and immersive performance design. Alongside minimalism, we see a renewed interest in emotional expressivity. Neo-romantic composers revisit melody, lush orchestration, and gesture, but filter them through modern harmonic and rhythmic sensibilities. Eclecticism defines much of the era. Composers freely draw from Baroque textures, romantic drama, film music, jazz, and global traditions. The result is music that feels familiar yet hybrid, accessible without being simplistic. Film and media aesthetics influence pacing and orchestration, while global influences raise important ethical questions about collaboration, authorship, and representation. Cross-genre collaboration is no longer the exception, it's a defining feature. Classical composers work with artists from pop, electronic music, hip-hop, jazz, and world traditions. These collaborations expand sound worlds and attract new audiences, creating music that resists easy categorization. New venues emerge as well: clubs, galleries, outdoor spaces, and virtual platforms. The concert hall is no longer the sole home of classical music. At the same time, these projects demand ethical awareness. Issues of cultural appropriation, power dynamics, and fair credit are central to contemporary practice. A striking feature of the 21st century is the rise of the performer-composer. These artists write, perform, and often transform their music in real time. Live electronics, sensors, and improvisation blur the line between interpretation and creation. Works evolve across performances and recordings, challenging traditional ideas of authorship and hierarchy. As a result, conservatoires adapt, teaching technology alongside performance and composition, and prioritizing versatile, community-engaged artists. Contemporary classical music often engages directly with the world around us. Composers address climate change, migration, racial justice, gender identity, and conflict. Music becomes a form of public discourse, shaped by text, multimedia, and participatory performance. Some works draw on community voices, oral histories, and activist contexts. But meaningful engagement requires long-term collaboration and ethical responsibility, not symbolic gestures. Why this music matters? So why does 21st century classical music matter? Because it reflects who we are now. It responds to technological reality, social urgency, and cultural diversity. It offers spaces for deep listening in an age of distraction. It remains a laboratory for innovation, where new ideas often migrate into film, media, and popular music. And for listeners, it offers something rare: time, attention, and the possibility of shared meaning. Classical music in the 21st century is not a fixed style or a closed tradition. It is plural, adaptive, and alive, honoring craft while responding to contemporary life. And perhaps its greatest strength lies in this very openness: the ability to listen, to change, and to remain relevant, right now.